Florida Atlantic University's Business Leader of the Year Award celebrates the accomplishments of business leaders and their ongoing legacy in improving the business environment. Mike Jackson, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of AutoNation, exhibits all the traits which measure effective leadership in business, including vision, innovation, and change, knowledge and experience, transparency and integrity, and social responsibility. AutoNation is the country's largest automotive retailer, selling over 400,000 units each year and servicing over 5 million vehicles. Even during the economic recession, AutoNation, under Mike Jackson's leadership, managed to post solid financial results. This is just one reason he's a frequent contributor and advisor, both for our government and on the airwaves.
Anyone who knows Mike or has seen him on the show knows he's a leader who's going to speak his mind. Not all CEOs are willing to be vocal when they're in an active role, especially in a public company. Mike, though, has clear thoughts on certain topics, and you can always tell he's extensively researched most of these. He knows what he's talking about, and he's prepared to talk about them. Whenever he's on, we know that Mike comes prepared, done his homework.
That we do. He is somebody who shows up and will tell us unequivocally exactly what he thinks about things. Mike's a leader with insight and vision. We've got a lot of guests on Squawk Box, but very few come as prepared as Mike and are able to talk through their thoughts on any level, on anything that we throw at him at the last minute. Mike takes an issue and can bring clarity to it. In fact, his recent discussion about the 2010 elections was very bold for a sitting CEO who has to defend himself to all of his shareholders. And that's what we look for here on Squawk Box, honest dialogue.
Then there's his role in the business community as well. If you look at the auto industry, it's Mike Jackson, it's Alan Mulally, and Ron Bloom who've all been instrumental in talking about the auto industry, speaking on behalf of the industry. It's pretty simple. When Mike talks about what's going on in his stores, we get a real clear look, not just at sales, but macroeconomic conditions. His role has actually become more than just talking about cars. It's hearing from him is now a bellwether for what the economy's doing.
That's right. He comes on and he talks about his monthly sales numbers, and that gives us a very good indication because he can tell us what's happening with auto sales. He's the largest auto sales company in the country.
In the universe.
In the universe, and it tells us a little bit about what's happening with the consumer. He's recently been talking about how pickup sales have been stronger than expected, and that's a very good indicator of what's happening with contractors and with home construction.
Yeah, and he can actually extrapolate it really to the macro economy. Many CEOs only see their own industries, but Mike is able to see beyond that. He was the first to put the housing collapse together with auto sales, and then later we saw obviously Wall Street collapse. No one thought credit was going to be the issue it turned out to be. So I would say that he sees the big picture. He can explain how it all works together in terms that laymen can understand.
Being a leader is one of the most difficult things to describe to most people. But ultimately, he's got almost 18,000 or slightly over 18,000 people in his organization. And you got to be able to paint a picture of what you want to be that is clearly and simply understandable by everybody. And I think he has demystified this whole process. He's turned everything into some basic essential elements, and he's driving the organization in that direction. It's not that easy, right? You know, in order to get that simple in the way in which you formulate a view of the future, you need to understand it. You can only simplify after you've removed all the mysteries around the business, and he's done that successfully. The fact that he's absolutely straight and he's vocal and he's unwavering in his commitments, I think it's incredibly refreshing in an industry which is unfortunately historically been festered with over-promises and under-deliveries. To find somebody who is so fresh in approaching and tackling issues that it's really changed the tone of the conversation. I mean, we are now working on a completely different basis with him and with the other dealers. I think there is a recognition of the mutual commitment that dealers and manufacturers need to make to establish this industry as a vibrant industry. I think the dealer body needed somebody like him, and I think we were lucky to have found him. he's been a shot of fresh air into the whole rejuvenation process, and he's done a great job so far. He's young enough to screw it up, but I think he's done a good job so far.